Jury selection is officially underway in the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Chloe Malas was in federal court today, and Chloe, no jurors selected, but a pretty revealing start to the 8-week trial.
Lester, that's right. It was an illuminating first day of court. Combs entered the courtroom wearing a crew neck sweater and a white button-down shirt. He had some gray in his hair and in his goatee. And at one point, he told the judge that he needed to use the bathroom and that he was feeling a little bit nervous. Now, also, several celebrities were named today, although they haven't been accused of any wrongdoing. They might be mentioned during the course of the trial. Their names are Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers, Kanye West, and his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who has accused him of years of physical and emotional abuse. And she is expected to testify during the trial. Now, Combs has vehemently denied all of the allegations against him. I also want to point out that celebrity attorney Mark Garagos, he was present in the courtroom. His daughter is Tenny Garagos, one of the lead attorneys for Combs throughout this trial. Now, a source telling NBC News that he hasn't joined the team, but he is advising on jury selection.
The courtroom hasn't even opened for testimony, and already Diddy's entire defense is crumbling. One of the prosecution's most crucial witnesses has vanished. A juror just backed out, and now the judge is scrambling to hold this trial together before it explodes into chaos. This is not just another celebrity scandal. This is a federal courtroom under siege. And at the center of it all, Sean Diddy Combs, once a billionaire mogul, now the face of a sprawling, dark criminal investigation. And it's only getting worse.
These testimonies are going to be extremely important. Building a case against someone as high profile as Diddy is not an easy job. So I'm going to bring in former FBI agent Bobby Chacon to talk more about this. So off the bat, Bobby, how do you build a case against a celebrity as well-resourced and powerful as Diddy?
Well, it takes a lot, Sylvia, as you know, because the allegations in this case range from like 2004 to 2024. So this has been going on for 20 years, and they're finally getting around to charging him now and trying now. That's because it's so difficult to get people who are not afraid to come forward. This person was powerful, they were rich, they had a lot of influence, they were allegedly violent. So all of those things add up to making it very difficult for investigators to get people to talk to them about these. You add in the fact that many of these things are embarrassing, they're of a sexual nature, they're private, they take place behind closed doors, and that adds to the reticence of witnesses coming forward and talking about these things. And so investigators have to do a lot of long, hard work in getting these witnesses to trust them, number one, to make sure they feel like they are being treated, not as a pawn in a game to get Diddy, but as people that really care, that the prosecution cares about these people. And so you bring in victim witness people who are trained really and have the background in talking to people who are maybe victims of alleged sexual violence. And so you bring in specialists that kind of can talk to people like that and get them to open up about these things and to trust the investigators and trust the prosecutors, that they're just not going to be thrust into a situation. You have to get them to trust you so that if someone does make a threat, even if it's veiled, people can do that on social media now. They can say things that are kind of a little bit wonky sometimes, or these veiled threats. So if the witnesses that you're developing are comfortable enough with you, they will bring those threats to you, or those situations where they might feel threatened. You always have on the federal level, we have the witness protection program, right, which is run by the U.S. Marshal Service. That's kind of a very extreme step, because that's somebody you change their identity, you move them to another part of the country, they're not allowed any contact with previous people in their lives. So it's the witness protection program is one of the more extreme steps that you take. But there are other steps you can take to ensure the witness that they're not going to be subject to that. If anyone does make a statement that's even considered something like that, you send a team to go out and investigate and to question that person and to get them to maybe make a retraction or to kind of back off a little bit. So you do have to do a good job at making sure the witnesses are comfortable that if anything should happen that they feel uncomfortable about, they bring it to you, and then you have to address it in the ways that are available to you.
Victim number 3. That's what prosecutors called her. She was supposed to take the stand. She was supposed to deliver a bombshell testimony. But now, she's gone. No phone call, No email, nothing. Prosecutors say they can't reach her, and the trial hasn't even started. This isn't just a delay, this is a disaster. When a key witness vanishes, especially one of this magnitude, it sends shockwaves through the prosecution's entire strategy. Experts are saying what everyone's thinking. This is a massive blow to the case. Not necessarily a fatal one, but a deep cut right before opening arguments. But it doesn't stop there. While the court was scrambling to deal with a missing witness, another curveball came flying in. A juror. Yes, one of the hand-picked people chosen to help decide Diddy's fate, quit. Citing personal well-being, the juror emailed the judge and asked to be excused. Now think about that. In a trial this massive, in a media circus this loud, the pressure is so intense that people are literally jumping ship before the trial even begins. This is chaos. The kind of chaos that can unravel even the most meticulously prepared legal teams. Meanwhile, another name is re-emerging at the center of this storm. Cassie Ventura. Yes, the same Cassie who was seen in the hotel surveillance video being attacked by Diddy. She's coming back, and this time, she's doing it under her real name. But there's more. Cassie is pregnant, and that changes everything. Legal experts are saying her pregnancy could make her even more sympathetic to the jury, more human, more real. And let's be honest, when you're facing federal charges that could put you behind bars for life, every juror's emotion counts. Cassie's story will be powerful, especially when combined with that video footage. Diddy's team will have a hard time convincing anyone that what happened in that hotel was just a private argument.
Is that he need to take his counsel advice. Because if he think he's gonna get out of this from the federal government, he out his mind. They in the process of plea bargaining, trying to do a plea bargain session with him, and he not taking it. That's probably why one of the lawyers jumped off the case. Remember Benjamin Bradford, his first lawyer with the Cassie situation? He said, give her the 10 million and make this go away, brother. He ended up giving her 30 million. He's not taking the lawyer's advice. 9 times out of 10, they probably got him a good plea bargain. Yo, listen to me, we can give you 15 years. 10 or 15 years. You do that, you come out, you only have to do like 12, 13. Come out to a halfway house. You still can live some of your life out as a free man. He don't want to hear it. So it is what it is. The federal government do not want to go to court. 9 times out of 10, they want a plea bargain with you. You understand? You accept the plea, you accept the time, you go ahead, you save the government money, you save them time and effort and manpower. If you don't believe that that white guy was a plant, then something is wrong with you. He done sold them enough drugs, but they haven't hit him with that charge. They haven't did him with that charge yet. Or that we know of. If you don't believe that they're gonna try to hit him with those guns in there, they saving all that for last. The drugs, the guns. They'll do another superseding indictment and add those two up if he don't take the plea. If he don't take the plea bargain to the sex trafficking or whatever, stuff like that, they don't say, okay, let's add the guns to it and let's add the drugs to it.
How you feel about Keefe D? He out here crying to come home, man.
Keefe D, I think is a mistravesty of justice that Keefe D is still in jail without a bail, or they're not making his bail low enough for him to go home. For the fact of the matter is that Keefe D was told to say something by an LAPD officer who was writing a book, doing a movie, and making himself rich off of an event that happened in our culture. And that he's in jail because the cops said a lot of these things first.
Now, here's where it gets truly unbelievable. despite all of this, despite the growing list of accusers, the overwhelming media attention, and a mountain of damning evidence, Diddy is saying no to a plea deal. According to insiders, federal prosecutors offered him a way out. 10 to 15 years, maybe even time served with early release options. But Diddy? He refused. Some are calling it arrogance, others say it's denial. But former attorneys of his are reportedly jumping ship because he won't take their advice. Remember Benjamin Bradford, the lawyer during the Cassie lawsuit? He reportedly urged Diddy to settle. He told him, "Give her the $10 million and walk away." Diddy gave her $30 million. And now, he's doubling down again. No deals, no surrender, full trial. Let's not forget what this trial is really about. Federal agents aren't just accusing Diddy of being abusive, they're saying he ran an entire criminal organization through Bad Boy Entertainment and his affiliated companies. An enterprise built on coercion, control, and conspiracy. Prosecutors allege this ring used threats, manipulation, physical force, and psychological pressure to trap victims. Some were paid off, others were silenced, and a few are speaking out now for the first time in years. This is RICO territory, racketeering, trafficking, conspiracy. If convicted, Diddy could face life behind bars. And the prosecution isn't playing games. They're throwing the full weight of the federal government at this man. If the criminal charges weren't enough, the civil lawsuits are coming in like tidal waves. Attorney Andrew Van Arsdale is leading the charge, representing 37 individuals, and says over 400 more claims could be coming. Let that sink in. 400 more. He told CNN that many of his clients are still too scared to speak publicly. They're afraid of what might happen if Diddy walks free, and according to Van Arsdale, they've received nearly 27,000 tips. After filtering out hoaxes, around 15,000 appear to be credible enough to investigate. The legal team is working overtime to vet which of those will turn into actual cases. And they've said on record, they plan to name more names. Shocking names.
Right. And I know you ain't signed it. I know you ain't signed an NDA, clearly. But did he make his artists sign NDAs and people that work for him?
Well, a lot of these rappers, a lot of these industry people, anybody who does business nowadays with the internet, they have NDAs, non-disclosure. That means that if you work for them, you around them, you can't disclose any of the information about them. It's the same thing that he gave to all his artists when he gave them their publishing back. I'm gonna give y'all publishing, but y'all can't talk about Janice Combs, Justin Combs, Sony, Bad Boy, or anything that happened. Y'all can't talk about none of that. But there's some artists that didn't say anything, that didn't sign it, and they able to talk about anything they want to. And I think that's those girls that was, I think Danny Kane. I think a couple of them didn't sign it. And boy, oh boy, they probably gonna go after him too. Cause I heard him, and I'm giving you this, Aubrey. He stood up there and he said in front of a lot of people, we were in the studio, and I said something to him and walked out the studio. He said, "Yo, I'm gonna drug their ass off and pick them out and pimp them out to my nigga." He said, "I'm gonna drug them out. I'm gonna get them all on drugs, and I'm gonna pimp their ass out to my." And I was like, "Them somebody kids," and walked out. And it's somebody that heard me. It's somebody that heard me. I mean, well, it's not only somebody that heard me, it's somebody that I know who was in the studio at the time that happened, and I still talk to him today. And we were just talking about that the other day. He done moved back to Indiana. I don't know why. I'm gonna give you that one. He said he was gonna drug them all out and pimp them out.
Diddy's team has been throwing every legal Hail Mary they can to suppress the evidence against him. They claim the infamous raid, where agents stormed his mansions, was unconstitutional. They said the warrant applications were tainted by exaggerated claims and unverified stories. They tried to get the tapes, the documents, even the hotel footage tossed out. But Judge Aaron Subramanian wasn't buying it. He ruled that every piece of evidence collected is admissible. That includes Diddy's electronic devices, iCloud backups, and yes, even the notorious tapes recovered from the mansion. Those tapes could be played in open court, and if they are, there's no turning back. So, how does Diddy plan to survive this legal onslaught? One strategy appears to be this: portray the relationships as mutual. Diddy's legal team may argue that many of the interactions, no matter how shocking, were consensual. They'll claim that people like Cassie and others were willing participants in high-stakes celebrity lifestyles that spiraled out of control. But legal experts warn that defense could backfire. Why? Because it doesn't matter if a relationship had issues on both sides. What matters is power. If one party used their fame, money, and influence to manipulate or control the other, it still counts as abuse. Trying to paint these relationships as messy but mutual may only irritate the jury. And if the tapes and testimonies show patterns of domination, that's game over. Even jury selection has turned into a strategic battlefield. Diddy's side is reportedly looking for younger jurors, particularly men, who may be less sympathetic to the stories of abuse and more swayed by celebrity status. Legal expert Ben Chu, who helped Johnny Depp win his defamation case, said it outright: "If I were defending Diddy, I'd want men. I'd want younger jurors, people who read TMZ, not watch Law and Crime." Because in a case like this, public perception and courtroom perception are tied together. This isn't just a trial, it's a war for narrative control. The jury is expected to be finalized by the end of this week, and with dozens of lawsuits, tens of thousands of tips, and a mountain of admissible evidence. The window is closing fast for Diddy to escape this with any shred of his empire intact. One by one, the walls are closing in. He's lost lawyers, he's lost leverage, and now he's losing control. If convicted, Diddy could face decades in prison. But if he walks, the backlash will be historic. This isn't just another scandal, this is a reckoning, and it's only just begun. Stay tuned, because we'll be here with every twist, every name drop, and every courtroom breakdown. Like, subscribe and hit that bell, because when justice gets this messy, you don't want to miss a single moment. This is what's poppin', and this is just the beginning.
Well, I mean, on the surface, if the prosecutor's claims are true, this seems like pretty much textbook witness tampering, right? I mean, it appears to be an effort to either, in some cases, intimidate witnesses from testifying against him, or there have been other reports of sort of inducing people to make statements in his defense. There was some allegation that in one instance this was a statement that he, in essence, dictated or drafted with a woman who made a statement that was attempting to rebut one of the accusers, I believe, in a civil case against him. I mean, witness tampering is bad. The things that Sean Combs is accused of are terrible. He pleads his innocence. The justice system will presumably work its way through.
It is likely that there is some underlying truth to at least some of the allegations. There might be a lot of underlying truth to a lot of the allegations. There's probably some bandwagoning going on. We spoke to an attorney who's for one of the victims, of alleged victims of Diddy a few weeks ago. I believe Amber Nomiki and I did, and you know, they said they had calls, they had information, they had people, hundreds of them, come forward. They're not going to represent all of them. They're, you know, which ones have evidence that can be compelling. What are the best cases to bring that? I also saw a story in the New York Post. This is from a week ago, about Diddy stuff that I wanted to read the headline of. Woman claims she saw minors dressed as Harajuku Barbies at Sean Diddy Combs' freak-off parties, what he was describing there to Conan some years ago. Said these were sex-fueled parties with what she initially thought were little people dressed as Japanese Barbies. And she said, this is her talking to TMZ, "Are those midgets?" And she actually thinks they were kids dressed up in sexy.
Oh, great.
So again, that's just from someone who provided this information to TMZ for a documentary, but pretty disgusting.
It is. No, that's